Jackson Holliday, welcome to Sports Spectrum. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's good to connect with you. I've known your parents now for many years, and when I found out we had an opportunity to sit down in person with you, we wanted to take advantage of that. I think you are quite the fascinating young man to talk to, the number one overall pick in 2022 in the major leagues to the Baltimore Orioles, but also being the son of Matt and Leslee. We don't want to forget Leslee, but the son of a big leaguer. And there's so much to talk about, I think, but even more to talk about is your faith. Let's start with being a young man growing up, and dad's in the big leagues pretty much when you're born, not too much after that. So you grew up being the son of a Major League Baseball player, not just a baseball player. What are your earliest memories of faith, being around mom and dad and kind of being raised in the baseball culture, but also as a young man following in mom and dad's footsteps in the church?
I'd say just both of my parents just praying every single night and really being intentional and raising me in faith and knowing that Jesus is in our household and was very important as long as I can remember. We always went to church, and whenever my dad was home, we definitely went. And even on the road, I can remember like being in Chicago and trying to find a church on Sunday. So faith has always been very important to my family, and they've raised me in a house that now it's very important to me. And me and my girlfriend, we go to church every single Sunday, and she goes to Bible study on Wednesdays and Sundays. So I'm very proud to be raised by my parents. They're awesome people, and I'm very excited to be here.
As you got older, was there any kind of moment that's taken place? Because you're still young. I mean, as we're recording this, you're just before your 19th birthday. Is there a moment that has taken place prior to, as we speak, where you recognize that faith that you grew up in with your parents, suddenly that has to become your own faith? Mm-hmm. Some of us, it takes a little longer for that to happen. Some of us, it happens fairly quickly. Has that happened for you? And if so, do you have a moment you can take us to?
I'd say just the past, maybe last summer and definitely this summer, it's been more important for me because I was on my own recently and traveling in the summer. I mean, it gets a little lonely, and you always have God to kind of, he's always right there with you. So it's been more important than it was kind of growing up, just being a Christian, and now it's a practicing. So it's been good. It's made the transition a lot easier and performing a lot easier, knowing that I'm playing for a crowd of one, and no matter what I do, I'm loved. So it's take the pressure off of being the number one pick and making that just fun.
How hard was that as you were developing into, a high school player and getting better as a player? I mean, as we talk now, you were talking about your younger brother, Ethan, is ahead of where you were at his age. When you were a sophomore, you weren't on the radar per se the way he is right now, and yet you turned into being the number one overall pick. But as a man of faith, through your high school journey, how difficult was it to not have baseball become your identity? We hear about that a lot, or become who you are known for. I'm guessing mom and dad helped in that, but how hard was that for you as you're playing baseball and getting better and falling in love with a game that has done so much for your family, but also remembering that your faith and who you are as a man of Christ, like that's the most important thing?
Yeah, absolutely. I carry myself to very, very, very high standards. So I don't do too much besides hanging out with the family and playing baseball. So I'd say being able to eliminate distractions and being able to focus on baseball and my faith has been most important for me. So I'd say just eliminating distractions has been the easiest thing.
Isn't that hard though when you're in high school? I mean, my daughter's your age. She just graduated high school. She's in college right now, and I think about, and she's a good kid. So I'm just thinking about her friends though, and just life as a 18, 19-year-old person in today, 2022, 2023. It is a different time where all of the distractions can happen. All you got to do is pick up your phone and you got a distraction. How have you been able to do that and eliminate those distractions?
I'd say my family, and they're cool, so I like to hang out with them, and we have a lot of fun.
That's
and
good.
My girlfriend helps a lot, and I
Yeah.
get to hang out with her and watch movies and fish and golf. So honestly, I don't do too much, so it's not too hard for me, but I'd say my family makes it easy.
Take me back to the spring. You played your last high school baseball game in maybe April, May timeframe, right? And a couple months later, you're playing a professional baseball game, and you are a professional baseball player. That is a very big transition. Not only that, there's expectations when you're the number one overall pick. What was that like finishing high school and preparing for the draft? And your name had been mentioned for a while as a top prospect, but you never know if you're going to go number one overall. It's the teams, it's the schemes, it's the GMs, it's everything that comes into play. The business side, which you're probably not trying to worry about at first, but then you realize, oh, that comes into play as well. What was all that time like for you as you were getting ready and prepared to try and transition into this professional world, which as an 18-year-old, I just can't imagine being 18 and suddenly you got to flip a switch and go from being a high school kid to a professional baseball player.
Yeah, I mean, during the high school season, I was just trying to enjoy being able to play with Ethan. So that made the high school season very easy and a lot of fun. So I enjoyed playing with him. And
Now, wait a minute. Let me interrupt you. You're a shortstop.
Mm-hmm.
He's a shortstop. So where was he? Was he playing second and you were short?
He played third base.
Third base.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
he'll gradually shift back to his natural position.
Yeah, that's right. He's a lot taller, so third base made a little bit more sense.
But pretty cool to play with your brother,
Mm-hmm.
I would imagine.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. He did really, really well. So it made it fun for me and made the season a lot easier. So, but after that, it was just kind of it's a waiting period because they moved the draft back for the All-Star game, and so we didn't really know what to do, kind of. So we just traveled with Ethan, hung out with him, watched him play, worked out wherever we were, and when we were actually in St. Louis the night before the draft because honestly, I don't even remember. We were just at a Cardinal game.
Was mom and dad doing a faith
Oh, that's
day
right.
thing?
Yep. That's right. That's where we were.
Yeah.
So we were there, and my dad wanted to fly home the night or the morning of the draft, and I didn't want any part of that to have to wake up and worry about all that for the rest of the day. But it was a blur. It happened fast, and we had a good crowd at the house, and got to enjoy the draft. Didn't really know what was going to happen, but I didn't know I was selected until it happened on TV.
You didn't know you were going to be going to Baltimore until it happened. Yeah.
So live reaction.
Yeah.
But after that, went to Baltimore. Did all the fun stuff. Got to hit on the field and.
What was that like? I mean, you've been around baseball fields, Major League Baseball fields, your whole life, but now you're actually a member of a team and taking batting practice at Camden Yards. I mean, gosh, that's got to be such a cool thing.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I tried to be a P on that field like 10 years ago, so it's kind of a blur, but it's fun to be able to kind of start my own career. And after I took BP, flew to Sarasota the next day, and I practiced later that day. So it happened fast.
So that's interesting to think about as a 18-year-old kid, and you get drafted and everybody sees it, and there's the business side and these large contracts and these large bonuses, and you're the son of a major leaguer, but yet you're an 18-year-old kid who goes from being in high school to now on his own. That is a big jump. I mean, I think about my daughter going to college, and thankfully she was in college in a setting with other people and friends and teachers and mentors and places like that. But as a baseball player, you're kind of going into it, and obviously you have coaches, but you're kind of figuring this out on your own with the other people who are drafted, these young people. Tell me about those first couple days being on your own and trying to figure it out. And maybe you were prepared for that. I don't know, but I just know for me, when I was first on my own, it was it was a wake-up call of all wake-up calls. Like suddenly, oh, I have to do my own laundry, and oh, I have to find a way to eat today, and I have to find a way to make sure that my clothes don't smell horribly. Jackson, what was that like for you, just being on your own those first few days?
I think I was prepared as much as you can be, kind of growing up in the game and being around it, but it's still different. Luckily, I knew two of the kids that I got drafted with. I played with one of their brothers. So that made it a little easier knowing people down there. Yeah. And Brian Roberts, who played for the Orioles,
sure, he
was down there too. So that made it a little bit better of an adjustment. But going home or to the hotel that first night, it was weird. But me and Grubhub are best friends. I got the best deal you can get on that.
That's true. I think about, this day and age, it's different, I guess. You could literally just go Grubhub, get the food delivered to your room. I guess. Was there something, though, a moment where it just was like, all right, because you were on your own for how long? Like 2 months, maybe, a month and a half?
I don't know, something like that.
It's a long time now.
I mean,
it's got like that was your experience to go to college, if you will. And it'll happen again. You'll be 19. And come February, March, and April, you'll be on your own again. What do you think is the biggest lesson that God was showing you and teaching you through this year as you walked through it? The Lord, I think, shows us a lot of different lessons and kind of reveals things to us as you're growing in your faith. What do you think is something that he was teaching you throughout this process?
Something that I've been kind of dealing with is just like trying to enjoy every single moment. And when I think back, I don't think I enjoyed my dad playing as much as I could. I mean, I thought I did, but like thinking back, I'm like, man, I wish I could go do that again. So I'd say I'm just trying to be present and not think too much about the future, and just enjoying going to the field each day and competing and doing it all over the next day. So that's what I've been focusing on. And I mean, this is a great experience while I'm here and just trying to take it all in.
Yeah. How about Dad? And just, growing up, watching him play. Do you even remember 2011, like when they won the World Series? Do you remember that with the Cardinals?
I do.
I remember. 7, 8 years old, maybe?
Yeah, I remember we thought we were going to lose, so we went down to the family room. And I remember sitting in the corner, everyone's like all sad because we're about to lose the World Series.
This is against the Rangers.
Yep. Then he hits the triple.
Yes.
And then we're all excited, so no one leaves. So we're still down in the family room. And then he hits the home run. So that's what I remember. And I remember all the celebrations leading up to that. And it was a lot of fun.
Did you go to the parade? Were you able to go on the floats and all that?
I was, yeah.
You remember that? Yeah. I mean, you're 8 years old or whatever you were. I mean, you just think this is what every kid's
it's weird. Yeah.
Thing is, right? Like probably your dad playing in the big leagues, it's just all you've ever known. But you said you didn't appreciate it as much when you were younger. I mean, was there a moment where you began to appreciate it, though? Like when your dad was with the Yankees in that last year, with the Rockies, I think he finished out with, like, were you able to appreciate that a little bit more as you were older?
Yeah, for sure. And getting to be a little bit older and see what these guys do each and every day of competing. Now I even have even more of a respect for them. I only played like a week and it felt like forever. So it's amazing what they do, and to be able to be a part of the Yankees and be able to watch them play. It was one of the more fun years of my life, being able to watch those games and be in New York and experience like their crowds and how fun it was.
But, so you're what, 13, maybe 12 at the time?
Yeah, 13.
I believe that was Aaron Judge's rookie year.
That's right, yeah.
And then as a player now, you're a professional, but just when you watch, you're a fan of the game. When you watch what Aaron Judge did in 2022, what just kind of comes to your mind when you think about a player that could do what this man just did this past season?
It really is incredible. But if you see how strong he is, I saw this thing. It's like his dad told him, he's like, you get up to hit 600 times and you can only hit 55 home runs or however many you hit, 60.
Yeah.
But it's truly amazing how unbelievable he is.
Yeah.
And especially when he's healthy.
What
and
a year.
Oh. Even like Mike Trout only played like half the season and he still hit 40 homers.
There's something special when you see guys do that. It's just incredible to watch. When you're on the on the field and you're up to the plate and, you might go 1 for 4 or even 1 for 3, right? You get out twice. The other time you get a hit and you're hitting 333. And if you do that the whole year, you're a pretty darn good hitter and you're probably going to win a batting title at some point if you hit 333. But there's also the other 667, I guess that is, of times that maybe you get out. Translate that into life and how baseball has helped you deal with obstacles in life, because you got to be able to say, okay, I got out twice, but I'm going to come up, I get a hit here, and I'm doing pretty good at 33% of the time that I get a hit. But in life, those things come at you in the moment. Sometimes you might go in a 1 for 20 slump and you got to figure out how to get out of that. Translate that into life as you kind of be a baseball player and know that, okay, going to have some hits, might be hot sometimes, going to have some lows. Got to keep fighting through both of those.
Yeah, I'd say, especially if you're getting out a lot, like making adjustments has been something that I've grown up with. We've moved like 30 times, it feels like.
30 times. Is that right?
Getting close. So
yeah,
I moved a lot, and I'd say just being able to make adjustments and being able to make the best out of every opportunity. So I've got friends all over the place, but I really enjoyed getting to move. Sometimes it was sometimes were hard, sometimes a little fun, but just trying to make the best out of every moment and being able to make adjustments.
Tell me, list some of the cities that you love. I can list St. Louis for obvious reasons. I can list Stillwater, Oklahoma. I'm thinking Jupiter, Florida. That's 3. You said like 30. Give me some other cities that you lived in, some places.
Jupiter.
Yeah.
Tampa.
Okay.
Colorado, Austin, Oklahoma, California, Arizona.
New York briefly.
New York.
There's a lot of places.
Yeah. And you bounce back and forth is the thing too.
Right. So like your dad this year coaching for the St. Louis Cardinals and your son Ethan, we're going to stay in Stillwater is what I hear. So there's bouncing back with that. And then you're going to be wherever you're going to be this year, hopefully at 3 or 4 different levels. We'll see how that works, right? If it's one level, great. But you're going to be bouncing back different places. This is going to be an interesting year for the Holliday family. Have you thought about that at all?
Yeah, that's right. I was telling Chloe, I'm like, we'll probably, because my parents just built this house, and I'm like, we'll probably be moving here in a few years. and then like,
because they'll be somewhere else.
Yeah, we don't stay in one spot too long. And then like 3 weeks later, my dad's taking that job. But it won't be too bad. There's a direct flight from St. Louis to Oklahoma, so it'll be good. It'll be good for Ethan to get back in the Cardinal clubhouse and get to take ground balls with Nolan and get to hit with Nolan. So it'll be good for him, fun for him, and I'm excited too. I get to root for the Cardinals even more this year.
Yeah, I don't know if the Orioles and Cardinals face each other in 23, do they?
I'm not sure.
I don't know. We'll hope they're not for this year, because at some point they will. What was your reaction when you found out Dad was coming back? Did he talk to you and your brothers and your family and just kind of say, hey, this is possibly something I might be interested in doing? What do you guys think? What was that like?
I was excited for him.
Yeah.
I know how much he likes coaching, and he loves coaching the OSU guys and getting to know them, and it's been a lot of fun. A lot of my friends are on the Oklahoma State team, and but he was excited. He's really good at coaching, hitting, and relationships. So he'll do great, and I think he's going to enjoy it because a lot of his friends are players and coaches. So a little bit of the best of both worlds for him.
Have you, or were you able to kind of distinguish dad and coach growing up? Because I had a hard time with that with my daughter, and again, it's a different level. But as a softball player, when my daughter played, when I would coach her, she still saw me as dad. And so she would not react the same way as maybe some of the other players because she couldn't put dad aside and just see me as coach. How were you with dad when he was teaching you and kind of helping you? Were you very receptive, or were sometimes like, Dad, just stop being dad and be coach here? Like, what was that like?
We pretty much agree on everything, and especially baseball. So maybe not pickleball. I think pickleball is the only thing that he gets pretty frustrated with me at because I'm not near as good as him. Okay. But as far as baseball, he understands my swing, and he's had a lot better career than me so far. So he knows what he's talking about, and I listen. So I wouldn't be here without him and his teaching and coaching. But I'd say there's not really a difference. He's kind of just dad, and the only time he's ever really coached me on a real team is basketball. So
but I feel like just being home and being a major league guy that he played for so many years, the natural coach is going to come out as dad.
Yeah, it's not. I wouldn't say there's much of a difference. I think he's just him. So I don't really look at him as a coach.
That's good.
That much. Just kind of my dad that knows a lot about baseball.
That's good. Well, he is Jackson Holliday, the number 1 overall pick, Baltimore Orioles. Let me ask you one final question. When you think about gratitude, and you think about Christ, and you think about the cross and everything that we're thankful for as believers, take that to just Jackson Holliday, the person, in your life that you've lived. What are you most grateful for? What are you most thankful for to God when you think about where He has you right now?
I'd say just Jesus died on the cross for our sins, because we're obviously not perfect and we sin a lot, and for Him to love us so much, for Him to send His only Son to die for us, I'm forever grateful for that.
I mean, that says it all right there. He is Jackson Holliday. Hey, thanks, buddy. It's going to be fun to watch your career. It's funny talking to people who've known you since you were like 5, and they see you now at the conference, and they're just shaking their head. Like, how is this guy a professional baseball player now? But it's pretty cool to see what's happening in your life, and we wish you nothing but the best.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks so much for watching today on Sports Spectrum. Make sure you click that subscribe button so you don't miss any other videos. And if you want more stories on sports and faith, check out our website, sportsspectrum.com.